A Course in Miracles. Lesson 13. A meaningless world engenders fear. Today's idea is really another form of the preceding one, except that it is more specific as to the emotion aroused. Actually, a meaningless world is impossible. Nothing without meaning exists. However, it does not follow that you will not think you perceive something that has no meaning. On the contrary, you will be particularly likely to think you do perceive it. Recognition of meaninglessness arouses intense anxiety in all the separated ones. It represents a situation in which God and the ego challenge each other as to whose meaning is to be written in the empty space that meaninglessness provides. The ego rushes in frantically to establish its own ideas there, fearful that the void may otherwise be used to demonstrate its own impotence and unreality. And on this alone it is correct. It is essential, therefore, that you learn to recognize the meaningless and accept it without fear. If you are fearful, it is certain that you will endow the world with attributes that it does not possess, and crowd it with images that do not exist. To the ego, illusions are safety devices, as they must also be to you who equate yourself with the ego. The exercises for today, which should be done about 3 or 4 times for not more than a minute or so at most each time, are to be practiced in a somewhat different way from the preceding ones. With eyes closed, repeat today's idea to yourself. Then open your eyes and look about you slowly, saying, "I am looking at a meaningless world." Repeat this statement to yourself as you look about. Then close your eyes and conclude with, "A meaningless world engenders fear because I think I am in competition with God." You may find it difficult to avoid resistance, in one form or another, to this concluding statement. Whatever form such resistance may take, remind yourself that you are really afraid of such a thought because of the vengeance of the enemy. You are not expected to believe the statement at this point, and will probably dismiss it as preposterous. Note carefully, however, any signs of overt or covert fear which it may arouse. This is our first attempt at stating an explicit cause and effect relationship of a kind which you are very inexperienced in recognizing. Do not dwell on the concluding statement, and try not even to think of it except during the practice periods. That will suffice at present. Lesson 13. A meaningless world engenders fear. Not because the world is frightening, but because meaninglessness leaves a blank space, and the separated mind cannot tolerate blank space. Meaninglessness is not emptiness. It is openness. It is unclaimed territory. And the ego panics at unclaimed territory, because a blank space exposes a terrifying question. Who is authoring this? If there is no meaning already written into the world, then meaning must be assigned. And whoever assigns meaning claims authorship. This is where the fear enters. Not fear of the world, but fear of authorship. A meaningless world is not dangerous. A meaningless world is undecided. And undecided space threatens the ego's entire identity, because the ego only exists as an author, as a narrator, as a meaning maker. Remove the need for meaning, and the ego has no job. This is why the Course says recognition of meaninglessness arouses intense anxiety in the separated ones. Not sadness, not confusion, anxiety. Because anxiety is the body's signal that identity is being threatened. If the world has no meaning, then the self that depended on meaning begins to wobble. And into that wobble the ego rushes, like a landlord terrified of vacancy. An empty building means no rent, no control, no claim. So the ego parks itself immediately. This means something. This is about me. This threatens me. This completes me. Any meaning will do, as long as the space is filled. This is why illusions are called safety devices, They are not meant to deceive others. They are meant to reassure the self. Illusions say, you exist, you matter, you are in charge, even if the meaning hurts, even if the meaning condemns, even if the meaning terrifies. Painful meaning still feels safer than no meaning at all. This is where competition with God enters. Not because God competes, but because the ego believes authorship is a zero-sum game. If God is the source, then the ego cannot be. So the ego interprets openness as rivalry. If I do not define this, something else will. And that something else is imagined as an enemy. Vengeance, judgment, annihilation. But this fear is backward. God does not rush into empty space. God is the space. Meaninglessness is not the absence of God. It is the absence of interference. The ego fears that if it stops writing, it will disappear. What it never considers is that it was never the writer to begin with. This is why the Course cautions not to dwell on the concluding statement, not because it is false, but because it is destabilizing. The mind that still equates itself with authorship cannot rest in that truth yet. So the practice is gentle. Look. Name the meaninglessness. Do not fix it. Do not decorate it. Just notice the urge to rush in. Notice the anxiety. Notice the need to assign purpose. That need is the ego revealing itself. Overt fear may shout. Covert fear may whisper. But both say the same thing. Do not leave this undecided. And the miracle is this. Nothing needs to be decided. A meaningless world does not engender fear. Believing you must supply meaning does. When authorship is surrendered, competition disappears, and what remains is not emptiness, but peace that never needed definition. That will suffice for now.